Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash, I praise the true God of Israel, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Hamashak Yahweh Shai, and His Holy Spirit, Kakadash, I praise the true God of Israel, Amen. How the white man, the so-called white man who is the devil, he does his wickedness and his evil and his bad behaviors against others, of him torturing other innocent people, casting spells and curses against others in the name of Satan. How does he do it? Well, he does it in many ways, but mainly he does it by the covert way, secretly and hiddenly. Now, why does the so-called white man do his wickedness by the covert way, secretly and hiddenly? It's very simple. It's because his god, Lucifer, is less powerful than the God of the Bible, who is Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahushua Bashem Kakadash. And since Lucifer is less powerful than Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahushua Bashem Kakadash, God, then Lucifer is under the control of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kakadash, under the control of God. If Lucifer was more powerful than God, then Lucifer would have been in control of God. Since Lucifer is more powerful than God, then the so-called white man would have done his wickedness by the overt way and openly. Because even if you know that the so-called white man is a devil, okay, even if you put curses against him, physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, the so-called white man got protection by Satan against Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahushua Bashem Kakadash and against the angels. Okay, so that's why the so-called white man does his wickedness by the covert way, secretly and hiddenly. He doesn't do it by the overt way, openly, because if Lucifer is more powerful than Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, God, then Lucifer, Satan, would have been in control of Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai, God, since Lucifer is more powerful than God, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? So if he's more powerful and he's in control of God, so if Lucifer, Satan, is in control of God and more powerful than God, then what's going to happen is basically, these Satanists and Edomites and so-called white people and their followers would have done their evil by the overt way and openly. Because who's going to stop them? Because if you know that they are Satanists and you put curse against them, they got protection. Nobody can put them at their place. If they really got protection by Satan against God, and the only way for them to get protection by Satan against God and against God's angels, Satan and the demons needs to be more powerful than God and than God's angels. And since they are more powerful than God and his angels, then Satan and his demons will be in control of God and his angels. Since demons and Satan are more powerful than God and his angels, then they will be in control of God and his angels, right? So they would have behaved by the overt way openly, but they have no other choice. But that's the complete opposite of that. Is the complete opposite of that. And since Lucifer, Satan is less powerful, since Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahushua Bashem Kakadash, God, is more powerful than Lucifer, Satan, then Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahushua Bashem Kakadash is in control of Lucifer, Satan, because Yahweh Bashem Hamashak Yahushua Bashem Kakadash is more powerful than Lucifer, Satan. So for that reason, the Satanists and the so-called white people and their followers and the Satanists, the witches and warlocks, they have no other option but to operate by the covert way, secretly and hiddenly. Because when they operate covertly and secretly and by the covert way, secretly and hiddenly, Nobody's gonna know except spiritual people. You need to be spiritual in order to know who the witch is and who isn't a witch. You know, and who is a warlock and who isn't a warlock. You need to be spiritual, especially with a covert narcissist. Okay? So when you know someone is a warlock or a witch, he's basically under your mercy. How is he under your mercy? You can easily pray to Yahweh and his only begotten Son, Hamashach Yahweh Shai, and his Holy Spirit, the Kakadash, to do all types of things against them. You can arrest them, curse them lightly, curse them heavily, curse them very viciously. God can literally send an angel to put them in prison, in physical prisons that are invisible to the human eye. Nobody can save them, nobody. And let me remind you this one more time, guys, that Yahweh Bashem Hamashach Yahweh Shah Bashem Kakadash, God is more powerful than Lucifer, Satan, and the demons. So since God is more powerful than Satan, then Yahweh Bashem Hamashach Yahweh Shah Bashem Kakadash, God is in control of Lucifer, Satan, and all of his demons. Okay? And for that reason, and the reason why God is in control, God and the angels are in control of Satan and his demons, is because God and the angels are more powerful than Satan, Lucifer, and his demons. That's why they're in control. Okay? So that's why the Satans, they have no other option but to operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly. And now, you know, we live in a society where there are a bunch of witches and warlocks are everywhere, and they get away with their crimes because, you know, most of the people are stupid, right? Because these witches and warlocks, they operate by the some of them operate honestly by the overt way because they know they can get away with it. How are they going to get away with it? Because people, they're going to be too stupid to know who the witch and who isn't a witch. And even if they know this is a witch or this is a warlock, they're not going to pray. They're not going to do the work. And all they need to do is literally 5 to 10 seconds per day, saying in the name of Yahweh and his only begotten Son, Hamashach Yahweh Shai, and his Holy Spirit, the Kakadash, I pray. Put curses against those witches and warlocks. They're not going to do that. Okay? But the vast majority, they operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly, because they don't want others to know, because they got no protection by Satan against God. Because Yahweh Bashem Hamashach Yahweh Shah Bashem Kakadash, God is more powerful than Lucifer, Satan, and all of his demons. And since God is more powerful than Satan, then God and his angels are in control of Satan and his demons. And the reason why God and the angels are in control of Satan and his demons, because God and the angels are more powerful than Satan and his demons. That's why. So that's why they operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly, because they don't want to get caught. They don't want others to know that they're Satanists, because the moment you know they are Satanists, they become under your mercy. You can put curses, attacks, diabetes, cancer, obesity, anorexia, curse of prosperity, curse of poverty, curse of faithlessness. You could put all types of curses against them, and they don't want that to happen. And now the so-called white man, who is the devil, he wants to fulfill his wicked satanic New World Order agenda against the whole earth, secretly and gradually. He's not doing it obviously overtly, non-secretly and quickly. No, obviously they're going to do it covertly, secretly. We all know that, because most of the time the vast majority of demons, they operate by the covert way, secretly, especially the high rank demons, the high rank witches and warlocks, the psychopathic, covert narcissists, psychopaths and sociopaths, they operate by the covert way, secretly. Now the overt narcissists, the stupid types of demons, they operate by the overt way, and they're low rank demons. But the psychopathic covert narcissists, they operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly, and the high rank witches and warlocks, they operate by the covert way, secret and hiddenly. And not only that, they want to fulfill the wicked satanic New World Order agenda under the rulership of Lucifer, under the religion of Satanism. They're doing it by the covert way, secretly and gradually. They're not doing it by the non-secretly way and quickly. They don't do it quickly, because if they do it quickly, then people will be like, well, what is this devil is doing? This devil took it too far. But if they do everything step by step, slowly, people are going to be drugged. People, they can see that as normal thing to do by doing wickedness, And how do you do that? You do that secretly and gradually, not non-secretly and quickly. You don't do that. Shalom.